Well, there's another Ask the King up. I came back after my little break to watch the Impossible Whopper review because I loved what LD did with all the DSP tries it. And when in his last commentary, in his last Ask the King, Phil said he was going to bring back these 2 videos or 3 videos or whatever the hell it was for DSP tries it. And I'm like, great, I want to rip into those. But coming back tonight, I didn't know he did another Ask the King. So here we are, July 9, 2020. There's 3 parts. Each one's an hour long. I'm not going to do all of them, so I picked one. And the second one says the good years and the bad years, state of fighting games, and YouTube changes impact. So piqued my interest. Figured let's just jump right into it. Haven't watched this at all. And yeah, but before we start this, though, I do want to give a shout out to Crinbo, my main man, always down in the comments. Appreciate it. Whenever I see your picture, I always think that Jay Bauman is watching me, but why would Jay Bauman spend his time watching Darksyde Phil commentary videos? Whatever. Let's go. Mail, motherfucker. Mail, motherfucker. Missed it. Damn it.
Alrighty, everybody. DSP here. Welcome back. This is part 2 of Ask the King, episode 82.
Now you know. I could have done a Go Team Venture with him.
Welcome back. If you missed part 1,
my window's a little
smaller. It'll
smaller.
already be on demand on the King of Hate vlogs. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on live stream, well, you're just gonna have to wait a little while for that to go live later today.
Sorry.
But I think we should jump right into
Wait a minute. He does print all of these out, doesn't he? He prints them out. Why doesn't he just put them on his phone? Why does he feel the need to print
I
them?
missed 2018. We had God of War,
Does he stream these off his phone?
Creed,
He can't because he's got his nice mic there.
And more. In my opinion, games in the last year and a half have been such a letdown.
Just put them on your phone.
Here and there.
Yeah, I mean, this whole time he's just kind of
research to really find the answer. But when you consider 2018
Look at
to
the
be one
camera.
of the best years for game releases in recent memory. Yes, it's weird. It's definitely weird how the game landscape works, because it seems like every 3 years or so we have a crazy good blockbuster year.
As opposed to the game Portrait.
Or the year that BioShock Infinite came out. I remember that year being like insanely outstanding. Like Call of Duty, I think, was great that year. And you got Assassin's Creed that year. Like that year was like,
I wouldn't know. I barely ever play new releases. I'm the worst one to talk to.
So you get to the end of the year.
I play old games.
I'm gonna narrow it down to what game of the year is this year.
I think the most recent thing I've played was Return of the Obra Dinn. No, that's not entirely true.
There's like nothing. You know, like this year so far, everything's been disappointing to me.
When he says nothing, it's not like there's nothing. You
like
can find these
so
releases. You can find these deep cuts.
Overload of great AAA games that are all
but he doesn't really play a lot of
like,
indie shit. He doesn't play a lot of Steam shit because he does everything off console.
And then you got years where it's like, you know, I could just skip all these and it doesn't even matter. But 2018,
I can skip all your videos. It doesn't even matter,
was
Phil.
a year of high highs for gaming. Well, and whatever year, I believe, the year Batman Arkham came out.
High highs. Is he talking about that one time that he smoked marijuana?
That was a good year for gaming, if I'm remembering correctly. It's like so. It almost seems like every third year. Almost every third year is the year when things like just explode with great games. So yeah.
Well, they can't all be winners. Let's be honest. And I feel like everything is a lot slower right now. The world's kind of slowed down a bit with this whole Corona shit.
Ron asked the following question. He said, "My question is,
we're not going to talk about that, though. We're going to punch down.
The beginning of this generation,
we're not going to talk about depressing shit. We're going to take our anger and our piss and our vinegar out on Phil.
Fighting games, and it's starting to remind me of the pre-Street Fighter 4 days. Even if I had issues with EVO Online, it was still a good way to get lesser-known games' attention, and even I only registered because Skullgirls was going to be on that list.
What?
Between larger fighting games getting bad reps and smaller fighting games having little attention.
So okay, so somebody's talking to him about current day Evo, but
when it comes to fighting,
let me guess, Phil's probably got to wax about his glory days.
Can we still trust them considering their recent
the fourth best super turbo offshoot vanilla ice sponsored
heyday of fighting
turbo?
But I didn't really become like.
I got the homebrew tonight. It turned out great. I'm pleased with it.
Until they were almost dying out. Okay? And then we had the renaissance of fighting games with Street Fighter 4. And now
why does he love that word so much? Later, renaissance.
That's all over. Okay? Let's follow the history. Street Fighter 2 released in, I believe it was 1991 in Japan, and I forget if it's 91 or 92 in American arcades. And it created a whole new genre of competitive fighting games. Then you had the many versions of Street Fighter 2 combined with Mortal Kombat, combined with other game franchises that tried to compete. You had Midway, who came out with 1 million games like Primal Rage, War Gods, stuff like that.
Primal Rage was
you had
okay.
The Killer Instinct series.
I'm still a big
Street
fan of Clay Fighter.
Street Fighter 2, but then the
Clay Fighter and
Street Fighter
DOA.
3,
Let's
and then the
let's talk about that.
So arcades
No,
were
I don't need to talk about
absolutely
DOA.
jam-packed with fighting games, and fighting games literally drove.
It's not an
the
arcade
arcade
fighting
throughout
game.
the
Technically, the
90s,
ones that I brought up
reason
aren't arcade
why
fighting
video
games.
arcades were so popular. Then, around the year 2000, it all crashed. The market kind of crashed. Not to say that the fighting games were worse, but I think maybe there was oversaturation because there was literally 3 to 4 Capcom fighting games.
He's saying that the fighting game market crashed in 2000?
You had Virtua Fighter, you had Mortal Kombat. So you had so much going on at once that maybe there was just too much at once. And what ended up happening was
I
Capcom
necessarily
had a big
agree with
shift
that.
in their division after a few big failures. Like, ultimately, Capcom felt Street Fighter 3 was a big failure. They tried something different with improved graphics and a very different kind of gameplay engine, and overall they did not sell anywhere near as many as they wanted to, especially because the hardware was so expensive to put in a gameplay.
I wonder how long he talks about this.
And
if this video is no good, I won't upload it.
They tried a few other things like Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. Really, the only game that was making them tons of money at the time was the Versus series, so Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. But Capcom decided they wanted to go in a different direction. They basically kind of almost shuttered up their arcade division and started working primarily on games like Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, a different focus for the company. And so, from the
so Phil, you're telling me that a
all the way
company,
through, like,
a business,
2009,
a business
Capcom
can
wasn't
change their
giving a shit
direction
about fighting
and
games.
make
The
different
things that they
choices
released
with
were
what they're
absolutely
doing
terrible,
and maybe
like
try
Capcom
to
Fighting
move forward in a
Jam,
different way.
a game that had like only a few new
something to think
sprites,
about,
everything else
you
was
know.
reused from other games, and the game played like shit. So when basically when consoles came out, Capcom was like, screw it.
He keeps
kind of
looking to
retired
the
fighting
side.
games.
Is he making
Now,
most
I'm
of
not
this
saying
up?
the
I
fighting
can't
games
necessarily
died out
fact check him.
completely. Mortal
I don't
Kombat
have the
turned
time or
primarily
the
into a
back
console-based
history for
experience that
I
really
don't know,
wasn't played
20
competitively
years
anymore. It
of
was more
fighting
just messing
games.
around with gory stuff at home. Tekken remained competitive, but because of the decline of arcades and because of the decline of major fighting games available, Tekken really didn't break into the mainstream as a ginormous thing like Street
I
Fighter.
know a lot of people who love Tekken, though.
And so there was basically, to maintain competitive fighting games in the 2000s, it was a grassroots movement. It was just people who absolutely loved fighting games and playing.
They have their
them
little
at a competitive
hippie
level,
signs up.
who did these little homegrown
Make Street
tournaments.
Fighter, not
It
Street
wasn't
War.
about backing from companies and sponsorships, and Capcom never sponsored a tournament. But we call them the Big Four. Okay, we call Super Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Those were the Big Four Capcom tournaments that at a major fighting game tournament you would hold.
Okay. Is
Then
this
you would have
relevant
things like
info
Tekken,
anymore?
or the
Does
latest
anybody
Tekken game
care
was,
about
if
this
there was a
necessarily?
Virtua Fighter available on a console, and then maybe a few other games like Guilty Gear and stuff crammed in there. That was a major fighting game
Yeah,
tournament
Guilty
back then.
Gear. Blaze Blue.
But no
Ooh, take a
exaggeration,
sip.
from like the year 2000, 2001, all the way to 2009 with Street Fighter 4, there were no new Capcom fighting games at all. So it was very, very lackluster. There were some ports. They tried to port the games and stuff, but there was never really mainstream appeal. So that was really a dead time for games. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after like almost a decade, Capcom decides they want to rejuvenate the Street Fighter series with the first numbered entry in Street Fighter in over 8 years. with Street
We all know
Fighter
how
4.
that went.
Modernized graphics, new gameplay mechanics, basically recreating Street Fighter from the ground up, having some familiar feelings from previous Street Fighter games, but
It was
also
kind of
some
a
new
shit
elements
show.
to it.
I didn't actually
Street Fighter
play it,
4
but
completely
I had a
exploded
gift copy of
with
the
popularity when it
what was it,
released,
beta or
and
whatever.
invigorated the
Played a little
entire
bit of it.
gaming genre. In fact, it prompted games franchises like Mortal Kombat to reinvent themselves and become more serious and more competitive.
Oh, I thought he was
again
talking about
after,
5
a
or
decade
whatever.
of kind of just being a silly mess around game that you would do at home, but there was really no competitive play for it. All of a sudden, Mortal Kombat comes back. Tekken, ginormous in a big way. You're right, and that was around 2000.
Stop saying ginormous, Phil.
And of course, we had all the versions.
That's
of
like a
Street Fighter 4.
Rugrats
That lasted,
word.
What, a
Oh,
good
Reptar
4 or
looks
5 years.
ginormous.
We had the versus Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate
It's
Marvel
such a
vs. Capcom
stupid
3.
portmanteau of giant and enormous.
And then Capcom started to lose their way with
whatever.
stuff like what was it? Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And then I hate to say it, with Street Fighter V being such a flop at launch, and
there
then
it is.
eventually gaining traction over the years, primarily because of hardcore fighting game community support. Let's be honest here. Is Street Fighter V as popular as it is because it's a good game, or is it because it's the only game from Capcom that they really promote and do any kind of updates to? You see what I'm saying? Like,
No, I
outside
don't.
of Street Fighter V, what else is there? Capcom hasn't put out a new fighting game at all. So because of that, that's
Does
what
it
people have
have
to play.
to necessarily be a
remains the
Capcom
top
fighting game?
from Capcom
If
for
this is,
fighting,
if there's a
despite the fact
niche
that,
for this, if
honestly,
there's a,
we could
because
come
we're
up with
looking at a
something better,
company, right? If there was
So
a
it really feels to me
need for
you're
fighting,
right.
like
Street
this
Fighter
guy was
V
talking
has
about
now been out,
Evo
when the
early
beta
on.
came out in
If there's a
2015,
demand,
the full game
that's the
came
term
out
I'm looking
early
for
2016.
for this
So the
kind of
game's
game.
been
People
out
were
for
buying
over
it up and they wanted a
4.5
competitive
years,
game to get
and they
around
just
or
get
whatever.
season after season, tweak after
Somebody
tweak.
would
Enough is
come up and
enough.
pick up the
We
pieces.
need something new. You know what I mean? Like, we need a new game to reinvigorate the fighting game community, and Capcom doesn't seem very eager to do it. They just want to keep milking the same cow and beating the same dead horse, despite the fact that I've always hated the game, and a lot of people in the competitive fighting game community basically said they didn't
Oh,
like
the
Street Fighter
ironing is
V,
delicious.
and even though it does have a vibrant community of competitive players, it's probably not for the right reasons. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Now,
How can you have a
other franchises
vibrant
have
community for the
continued
wrong
on and continued
reasons?
on with new iterations.
Okay, wait,
Um,
wait a minute now.
We had the whole Dragon Ball Fighters, right? Oh my God, Dragon Ball Fighters, ginormously popular at the time.
Stop saying
But now look at
ginormous.
the sharp decline. Dragon Ball Fighters.
That's
is
such a kid
nowhere near
word.
As popular as it was over about 2.5 years ago. In fact, you barely ever hear it even talked about anymore, right? And this is a major problem with fighting games now. It seems like they've come out. There's giant hype behind them for a little bit, and then they just
Ginormous hype.
fizzle out. It didn't used to be like that. Like I said, we played the big four Capcom games from the year 2000
Back in the
to
day.
2009.
Oh
You know
my
what
God.
I mean? We put 9 years. Now, what other fighting game has longevity for 9 years in the modern era? Probably none, right? I mean, that's a good point. Like, look at Dead or Alive 6, where no one even played it. The game was an utter failure and flopped completely.
Yeah, flopped.
Yeah,
Flopped
things
in
are
more
starting
ways
doing
than
so well
one.
for
Hey,
fighting
hey.
games, Mortal Kombat 11 came out. People played it competitively and then kind of were like, meh. And you know what I mean? Like, that's what's happening with these games. They're getting popularity for a very limited time, and then they kind of die out. So
Yeah,
I
well,
do- I
you'd
actually
say that
agree
about a
with
lot
you
of
here.
things. Shit's more disposable now than it is.
Random Ron.
It was
I
back
think
then.
that fighting games are kind of at a point where, is it as bad as it was in the mid to late 2000s? No, we're not there yet. But it certainly feels like we're getting there. Like, since we haven't had anything new from Capcom in 5 years.
Who right
okay,
now is going to, in the current landscape,
Tekken
and I know
is
this
taking
Corona
forever
shit,
to
I don't mean to
games,
bring
right?
it back up again, is going to go to a
Mortal
tournament,
Kombat
is going to go to a
and Justice are
con.
continuing
Who's
on
going to
forever,
host
but they
something
kind of
like
fizzle out
this?
competitively after a very short period of time.
Where you can competitively
So,
be in person,
in
hand
reality,
controllers
what do
back
we
and
really
forth to people.
have
It's going to be such a pain in the
that's
ass.
really, mainstream supporting the fighting.
I want to let
community
this go. I don't want to have to
and,
harp on this
nothing.
shit.
Nothing. It's the very again in 2009 you had Street Fighter 4, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. All
Yeah,
these new
yeah, we
versions
get
of
it. It
Street
was
Fighter
great.
4, and then a new version of Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Are you done?
Street Fighter Cross Tekken, multiple versions of, remember, there was mainstream Tekken and then Tekken Tag Tournament 2, plus Dead or Alive came back, plus Mortal Kombat had a reboot. It was like, wow, the fighting game renaissance, and it's over. In my opinion, we're getting back to stagnation. And is it because Capcom has moved on and said, we want to focus on Resident Evil, and we want to focus on Devil May Cry, we want to focus on other franchises again? Maybe.
When was
Maybe
the
they
last
realized
Resident
we need to
Evil?
remake
When was
old
that
games
released?
with modernized graphics and gameplay mechanics, that it's not as bad or as difficult to develop as, say, a new fighting game from the ground up or whatever.
I'll
And
still
we make a
happily
ton of
play
money
the
doing
first
that,
one,
So why are we going
honestly.
to make Street Fighter 6 right now? You see, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems to me like fighting games have completely slowed down and no one really cares that much about them. Even
To be fair, it
releases
doesn't
like
really
the Samurai
hold up.
Showdown game that came
It
out
doesn't
last
hold
year.
up. Anybody who says it holds up
Outside of the
is
competitive
wrong, but
fighting
it's still a
community that were,
decent
like,
game for
holding
the
its mouth
time. You have to
for a new
take it
fighting game, didn't
into
get any
account.
mainstream appeal at all. I never played it. I never heard of anyone really wanting me to play it. So, I agree with you, Random Rod. I think what would it take for us to get out of this rut? Capcom needs to focus on fighting games again. In regards to, like, they have to make a new Street Fighter for sure. It has to play better than Street Fighter V, which plays terribly. And
So
then
we're
even-
gonna get
I would
Street
say,
Fighter
the Versus
6?
series
Is
or
that what
something
you're?
new.
When are they gonna
If you
do
get, like,
that?
2
Think
new
about the
fighting games from
gap in
Capcom, that might
between when
reinvigorate
4 and
everyone else's
5
for
came
fighting
out.
games. I don't know.
I mean, maybe what he's talking about has a little
Zach
bit of
the
sense to
Guy
it because people are playing
asks,
that.
out of the many
I don't
Resident
know.
Evil games that you have played, what would be your top 3, and is there one that you actually really hate? I would
Scarface?
say if you look at every Resident Evil game ever, Resident Evil 1 will always be my favorite.
Sorry.
It's
I
the
thought
one
he
that
just said
actually, for
evil
me, started
games.
survival horror. Like, I couldn't tell you any mainstream survival horror games before Resident Evil. That one it brought survival horror into the mainstream with the way that it handled it, like almost like a cheesy B movie, but it had like all these horror movie cliches and things in it. It was the first game that I played that I actually legitimately felt scared.
Wait, he actually felt scared with the original Resident Evil?
Hold up. In regard as the best survival horror
I think
game,
maybe the only
Resident
thing that
Evil
would
ever.
spook you is
After
the
that, I would argue
snake.
Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yawn? What
Probably
was
the
the
best in the
snake's
entire
name? Yawn or
franchise.
something? It was
It's
such a
got
good name for a snake.
Very, very challenging gameplay elements, especially if you play it on the
Be about
hardcore
it.
difficulty like I did. But it's got good variety of enemies. It's got great gameplay mechanics. It's got replayability with the two sides you play with the two different characters. It's just insanely well done. Probably one of, if not the best survival horror game that I've played.
Okay.
It's just that good. And then, then after that, it kind of becomes, I don't know, maybe Resident Evil 4, was really, really good when I remember playing it.
Oh,
I would
good
say
old
the one I-
Leon.
honestly, the one I don't
Leon?
like the
Was
most
that
is
his
Resident
name?
Evil
I
3.
don't
I feel
remember.
Resident Evil 3 is too short to be a mainstream survival horror game. There's really no replayability.
3 was
after you
interesting,
play it
though.
once.
That was the
There's
one
no
that was in the
reason to go
whole
back and
the
play it
room
again.
or
There's no
whatever,
scenario
right?
B.
And so you had to
It has
do like the
really
dream
annoying gameplay
sequences.
elements in
Am
it.
I
Now, the
wrong
remake
here?
actually
I'm
did
probably
away
wrong
with
on
some
this.
of those elements. Like, for example, a time segment where you're rushing through zombies, and if you shoot wrong, you blow up a barrel that insta-kills everybody. That's not even in the game. They improved the game to the point where all that stuff was removed. But I would say original Resident Evil 3, the original version, is probably my least liked Resident Evil game in the whole franchise.
Cheers, mate. I don't necessarily agree with him.
Okay.
I don't know.
Continuing on.
I like the first one, and 4 is okay.
Oh, we're only like not even 20 minutes in.
I mean, 4 was a big breakthrough.
All right, the next question is from Blanca Balls, and he asks the following.
Blanca Balls?
So, I've been asking
Who are
various
these
questions
people?
pertaining to your fighting game community history, such as playing in tournaments and returning to EVO in the future for any Street Fighter game. With your recent, more extensive comments on EVO and the
Why are these
developments
people
surrounding the
sucking his
tournament
fighting game
which we can
dick?
talk about later, I guess. I
Has
now
he been
realize
playing
there's
any
so much
fighting
more going
games
on than I ever
recently?
could
I
have
don't know.
suspected, even with you sharing a lot of your stories in these past years. I actually feel the need to apologize to you, and now I know what the real deal is. Just in summary, just so you guys know, a lot of people over the past decade have asked me, why don't I go back to EVO? I would love to see Phil go back to EVO. And there's multiple reasons why.
It's
First,
too hard.
Primarily is that because I've moved on from being a competitive fighting game player.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
care about
moved
EVO.
on. He's not
As much
sharp
as I do
anymore. He
get
has.
the bug
You,
to play games
it's
at a
because
competitive
something
level
like
and
that. I don't want to
some
pause
matches
very
and go back.
often, but I can't actually cut in here on this, right? Oh, great face to cut in. I don't want to pause. These is 51 minutes long. I'm only 16 some minutes in. It takes time to be really good at fighting games. There's a reason why I don't play them extensively, because you have to spend a lot of time getting to know your combos. You have to play online a lot. You have to play in person a lot. And you have to get really good at counters. You have to know the characters and everything. It's a time dedication. The reason why he's not going back to EVO is because he doesn't have the time. He doesn't want to spend that time to develop his fighting game skills again. Period. Now, I'm sure he's going to wax on. I mean, look at that face right there. He's going to wax on about like, well, I've got this, that, and the other thing, and well, here's whatever. You can sum this up in one sentence. Just say, look, I don't want to spend the time getting really, really, really good at a fighting game because that takes a lot of unpaid hours. There you go. Done. Move on. I saved you all 20 minutes probably. I don't know.
I play Super Turbo or something like that. It's not worth the amount of sacrifice that it takes, the amount of work I'd have to put into it, the money and time to go travel. You know what I mean? It's just not worth it. That's really the reason why you haven't seen me at EVO or tournaments or anything like that. But there's always been.
Why did this guy apologize to Phil?
There's always been other reasons. Like, I knew that if ever
Look
I
at
go back
him.
to EVO,
He's gotten
I
way
always
dodgier
face
in the
fact that
years.
there's a
He
chance
barely
I'm
looks
gonna
at the
kinda
camera
get
now.
treated unfairly behind the scenes, screwed over, put up against matchups that people know are ridiculous and not fair. It's ridiculous because there's always been this kind of hatred towards me.
Mister, I can't take the vitriol. Oh, I can't handle. Oh. You gotta look down. That's why he's got his cowboy brim so low. I can't go back to EVO. Too many bad memories. Too many wounds. There was a soup they had at Evo, a thin broth cut with prawns, 6 different types of vegetables, coconut milk, and spices. I still can't get the mixture right.
And
That's a
for
deep
Evo
reference right
staff
there.
Because of bad blood.
It's a good reference.
Years and years ago. That you would think by now would be exempt, but I really doubt it. At this point, there probably still would be shit that would go down behind the scenes.
I'm sorry, what? Mr. Let me run your tournament for you? You could have just said and he did. He started off fine. He took the first step. He said, it takes a lot of sacrifice. That's a big, okay, fair. Being a little drama queen, dramatic, melodramatic, whatever, call it what you want. It takes a big sacrifice to get good at these games. Yes, it does. It's a time commitment. But if you're good and you really want to be the best, then you put the damn time in. I've been streaming myself ever since this whole Corona shit started happening. I took, a chance. I went out on a limb and I started streaming. I don't have that many followers, but I took the risk and I realized that it's a big time commitment. You're going to put these hours in. Do I call it a sacrifice? No, because it's something that I enjoy doing. If he enjoyed these games, he wouldn't call it a sacrifice, period. But now he's going to go on, there was all this drama back then. I'm sure I'm going to get stigmatized going on now. Whatever.
Try to screw me over. So I really didn't care. I talked about this.
Came back to
recently.
Screw me over.
All the controversy that's come out, Mr. Wizard, the allegations of his basically pedophiliac actions back 20 years ago at an arcade in California. And
back away, not today, disco lady.
But no one held him accountable for it until now, because one of his victims finally came out and admitted that, yeah, he basically stared at the guy's dick, which is fucked up because the kid was underage at the time.
What?
Okay,
so wait a minute. Excuse me? Why does he directly go? This was a bit of a tangent here, Mr. Philium. You went on a tangent about some guy's pedo charges? I don't know anything about what the hell he's talking about, but he's talking about why he doesn't go to Evo because he's going to get heat, but he's also saying this guy got pedophilia allegations levied against him. Like, why would you go right to that? Just saying.
Yeah, but then the fact that the cannons, the people who own Evo behind the scenes, knew about this and didn't care, had Joey Queller or Mr. Wizard be the head of Evo for years and years and years, despite the fact
it's terrible. People in power are going to use whatever they can to cover things up, and if you're popular, then you can get away with a whole lot more. It sucks. Shit sucks. Life sucks. Why are you talking about this? You're deflecting, Phil.
And now Evo goes into their hands instead of Joey's, but it's like, but they knew all this, so how are they any better? So all that happening, and basically Evo falling apart, no Evo this year now because of all this going on.
Well, yeah.
I'm
sure there's more than one reason.
All the stuff I said about Evo over the years and the fact that I didn't want to go back to it and stuff. Just imagine you're getting into the fighting game community, the competitive fighting game community, and the first major tournament you go to that's not in your hometown, you get mistreated, you get cheated, you spent all this money, thousands of dollars to travel across the country just to get
thousands
screwed,
though,
and the staff tells you they don't care, they just don't give a fuck. Tough shit, don't come back. That's the attitude we were given from these same guys who run Evo. They always thought they were better than everyone else. They were like in charge because they were big wigs with money.
Thousands.
And if you don't like it, it's their way or the highway. Tough shit, don't come back. That's what we were told repeatedly. You don't like what we do,
it's a lot of money.
Don't come back. That's how it was.
I can't imagine that that's the case. I'm sure there's cheaper ways to get to. I don't mean to harp on this, but I mean, it's a few days and you have to get a hotel room, so it's a couple $100, but I don't know if you flew there, then yeah, I mean, that's on you. Or, I don't know. Whatever, Phil.
Phil, you should just go back to Evo for old time's sake. Not only the fact that I don't really like the modern fighting games, but why would I go back to a place where that's how the attitude is how it's always been?
Whatever. Things don't change.
Continue.
Capcom doesn't change.
Now for my question, okay? Do you mind people frequently asking you about your tournament days back in Street Fighter?
Jesus Christ, how long are we going to wax on this?
I'm just very entertained when you play any Street Fighter game. I'd love to see some sort of comeback to a tournament.
Clearly, I made the wrong choice.
Over the years. Do I mind it? No. And the thing is, you know, I get the feeling that there will always be that element. When you see me play Street Fighter 2, and you see me pulling off cool strategies and combos and things and just dominating, people are like, wow, I'd like to see Phil actually go in a competitive setting and play these games. But you know what I mean? Like, those days are in the past, and I gave them up purposely. I wanted to become a variety content creator. I wanted to go all in when I was a YouTube creator. Now I have a family and a life, and I really have no desire to sacrifice that.
Why does this have like an air of, this is what the people want? I became a variety streamer because people told me to, and everybody misses the days of fighting, and Phil was such a good fighting game guy, and oh, why can't we have all that shit back?
Become a competitive player again. It would be a very concrete sacrifice. As of now, with what
Stop saying stop.
I feel I don't.
Stop. Sacrifice is the wrong term. Sacrifice is a term you use when you have to lose something of the utmost importance to you. And of course, that's why he's using the term sacrifice, because he would have to sacrifice his time on Twitch streaming Minecraft or whatever just to get hits and views and followers and bits. And that's not part of the business model. We cannot take time off from that, except, yes, you can. I know all he does is play video games and stream, and that's pretty much it. But who's to say you couldn't trim maybe half hour off here off of one stream, half hour off here one stream, and all of a sudden you've got an hour a day to start perfecting those skills a bit. Get in. Get serious. If people really, really want you to get back on the scene and fighting, you can skim a little time off and say, I'm going to use this time to get really good at Street Fighter, competitively good. If you take an hour a day on anything, you spend that hour a day, it accumulates week after week. These are things that should be obvious, and it's a matter of time management and a matter of what are you going to do with your life. Everybody has that lay around time where you can take half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour even, and just put it into something that, sure, you're not going to be great at it right away, but it's going to build to something in the future. And you can say, you can hype it up on your Twitter. Hey, I'm taking this time and look at my win-loss ratio on all these online matches and fucking whatever. You could probably even stream it. People would get a kick out of it. It's not a big sacrifice. Yeah, it takes a lot of time, but fuck, make the best of it.
Spend enough time with my family. I wish I had more time, more days off to spend with my wife and do stuff. Because right now we have one day a week we spend together. And outside of that, I saw her this morning.
Wife.
In the morning,
family.
I started working on my stream. I just saw her for 5 minutes during the break. You know,
cat.
I'll see her for dinner before she goes to work. And
stop picking your nose. No, he's trying to do the little mustache thing. He does have the stash. He should just abandon ship on everything below the porn stash line. If he just had the stash, it would look good. But he's got nothing. His beard game is weak.
Holy shit! You know, it ain't worth it. It's serious.
It's either super salt and pepper or it looks like skin. It looks awful.
I don't think it would ever be something that's going to happen. Would I ever, on a whim, on a one-off thing, go to a tournament and try to compete if it was a game that I really
Shave
liked?
it, baby.
It might happen. I'm not
it's my salt and pepper reference for tonight.
Completely and utterly off the table for the rest of my life that I'll never go play competitive Street Fighter in any capacity ever again. But it's certainly not a concern. It's not a consideration. It's not something that I would care about. Am I bothered when people ask me about it? No.
Clearly.
It was part of my life. It was a major part of my early
Clearly
YouTube
you are.
career.
That's why you've been talking about it for 20 minutes.
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo
Dillweed.
HD Remix, Street Fighter 4 and its various iterations. And I understand why people want that from me. And a lot of people, when a new fighting game comes out, get hyped. They want to see my coverage of the new fighting game, right? And I'm there with you. You remember when Mortal Kombat
You've
came
got
out,
an audience. Tap into it.
Enjoyed it. When new games come out, I play them. The problem is right now there's nothing. There's nothing from Capcom to even fucking play. You know, when Street Fighter 6 come out, despite the fact if I like the game or not,
I'm sure there's other, I don't know, fucking play Nidhogg 2. Whatever, I don't know. That's not really a fighter, but
creator and having a background
sprang to mind. I don't know why.
Doing that. But am I ever gonna
Nidhogg 2? I'm gonna get crucified for that one. Play whatever. If you've got this quote-unquote plugged-in audience, then pander a little bit. It'll go a long way.
Am I ever going to Evo? Probably not. Those motherfuckers don't want me back. They never wanted me back to begin with. And now that I've spoken out about Mr. Wizard and Evo, there's no fucking way they're ever going to want me back.
I know nothing
They're
about
petty
this
people.
controversy.
They
I'm
really
not going
are.
to
They're petty
pretend to know
people.
anything
And
about
I
this
know that if I went
controversy.
back, I would be treated
I
unfairly.
feel like it's a Jingle
So,
Keys thing, but if this was a
I
really big
don't
deal,
ever see- unless
let me know.
Evo gets completely under new management.
I feel like
the
he's
cannons, and, you
when
know,
I
have
say
nothing to
Jingle
do with it
Keys, it's like
whatsoever,
him
you
trying to
probably never
avoid
see me
talking
back
about
in
this
Evo ever
scenario,
again.
the situation.
Ever. Maybe the one exception would be if I don't enter any official tournaments and I enter a side tournament for Super Turbo that has nothing to do. It's not run by Evo staff. Maybe then I would consider it. But
Yeah,
outside
I'm
of that,
sure you're gonna run that.
ain't gonna happen.
No, okay, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Excuse me here a minute. Maybe it's your time to host. Brilliant idea here. Maybe if he is so passionate about this and he wants to get this to like start, host a tournament. Put it in frickin' Washington. Like, whatever. Or you can find a way to do it online, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm sure, obviously, with these tournaments, you have to have people there. They have to be playing on legitimate copies of the game or whatever. But if he's so gung-ho about, yeah, I'd go back to this, like, whatever, and God knows he could run a tournament for you, maybe he should host. I mean, I've seen crazier. Like, I don't know. What's some like washed up wrestler? Like, let's say, well, okay, I wouldn't say, okay. What if, like, somebody who was back in the scene, because he's talking about this, he's talking big shit like about he's in the scene. Okay, so what if Hulk Hogan got together and performed like a seance and channeled the spirit of Randy Savage, and they did an old school classic WWF, like, yeah, no holds barred, we're going to get these people together. People would watch it because the host, right? Or what if Ozzy Osbourne started up like a new metal, like, we're going to, right, Sharon, we'll get the best people in here, metal bands, could be great. Like, just because he's back in the day, using your clout from then to start this. So, Phil, take this time, maybe, to start this tournament, get some interest, or at least garner it. Start it yourself. Why not? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least you could say, hey, I tried, And if it's a side tournament from Evo, you call it. If this guy's got a big enough plugged-in fan base, like he says, to bring in people, then do it yourself. Why not? Be a washed-up celebrity host. You could be the fucking Vince McMahon of Super Turbo 3, 4, whatever the fuck you were good at.
Trust me, they know what I said on my stream. That's how they are. They probably were sent it by a million people. They watch, yeah, motherfucker, he says that. It ain't worth it. RBG fan,
No.
Cheers, and I'd like to see Phil beat up that Mr. Wizard guy. I don't want to beat up anyone in real life. Sorry.
No, you mispronounced I can't.
All right. Polish Frog actually asked a lot of really good questions for this show. In fact, on the pre-stream today, I had people vote for what vest I would wear if we hit the vest goal, which, by the way, we're not even close. So maybe this is the end of the vest streak today. I have no idea at this point. It's very likely.
I can't take this stupid vest thing. I wanted to react to the old Vestival streak, Vestivus, whatever. That video pissed me off. It really did. And he's not even really at 174. I don't want to talk about the vest. Vestivus for the rest of us.
But, basically, Polish Frog not only had a lot of good questions, but a lot of good suggestions. Thank you for that, Polish Frog. I really do appreciate that. Let's get on
brewskis.
to his questions. Okay? I didn't pick all of them. I think I picked maybe one or two of his questions. Let's see here. So he says, it's been about 2 years since YouTube kicked you in the balls with the Google Plus suspension and then AdSense issues that caused you to go all in on Twitch.
This.
A little bit of history on that. It was
yes. Please. Tell us all the history, Phil. The history is a mystery. Elucidated for us.
Summer of 2018, YouTube screwed everything up. They were actually getting rid of Google Plus, but somehow in the process made it that Google Plus flagged my videos as spam, which makes no sense. I never wanted Google Plus integration with my YouTube channels. They forced it. It was literally mandatory to have a Google Plus integration. Then all of a sudden, as they were getting ready to shut down
just
Google
so he
Plus,
could get
overnight,
his
they determined
AdSense
that
account?
all my videos were spam, and they suspended my YouTube channel because of it. It's ludicrous. It made no fucking sense. Then I got all that fixed, but by the time I got it fixed, I couldn't enable ads on my channel anymore, so my whole channel was screwed up for like 2 months. Okay. So it says, what do you think about your decision to move to Twitch full time.
I'm surprised he swept that under the rug so much. Okay, I thought he was going to go on and on and on and give us a lot more about that. But he talked about fighting games for 25 minutes. He's like, oh, well, probably because maybe now he knows he's in the wrong. And so that's why he's kind of like, well, you know, this screwed up or whatever. There was a lot of bullshit that I mean, he was unable to get a Google AdSense account. And yeah, Google Plus, that was a big debacle. Everybody remembers that, but God, what a dingbat.
Any regrets about the changes that you made on both YouTube and Twitch around that time, the summer of 2018? Do you feel that you actually made the right move, changing your archive content from the 10-minute recordings into 1 hour long recordings, which is when I did it, was the summer of 2018? Has this led to you to be more focused on gameplay and stream chat compared to before when you had to keep your eye on the timer to cut recordings every 10 minutes?
Yeesh.
Do you think that you'd ever start archiving your streams as a major 3.5 to 4 hour long video for an entire stream and then a 2 hour video for the late stream? Or
He's not going to do that.
Hour-long recordings are a sweet spot for stream archives. Do you feel that going all in on Twitch and ditching YouTube has been a factor in the recent positivity that you've seen over the past year? Especially
He's not going to do that.
Giving you anywhere near as many behind-the-scenes issues as YouTube has.
He's going to dump all of his shit onto YouTube in chunks because there's still enough there. He's going to squeeze that to the final penny.
To an automated toxic cesspool like YouTube is. That's a lot of questions. All right.
I'm out. I need another one.
All right. Let's address each one in order. First of all, the changes I made on YouTube, all right? My videos went from being, say, anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes long to basically a minimum of an hour, all right?
Why does he have to keep looking away at his screen for that?
According to YouTube stats, engagement went up. What does that mean? It means that when you watch one of my videos, more people are watching it for a longer period of time. It used to be, some videos were watched for 30 seconds to a minute, people were out. Now the videos are longer, I guess engagement went up.
Oh yeah, I remember that whole switch too, where it was like everything was based on views or like whatever, and then the longer you could keep them, the better you could do, and that's when mid-roll ads started coming in. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But they realized that he was boring.
Interactions with the videos went up, meaning a video now gets way more likes, way more things on it than it used to. Okay, but you would think those things would have a positive impact, right?
Not necessarily.
Think, oh, when a video gets more engagement or gets more of these positive factors that YouTube apparently is weighing, then the video should get more attention. And according to YouTube and the way that they explain their methodology, the more positive interactions, the more engagement a video gets, it's higher in the rankings. You have a higher chance to be viewed by a wider audience, and it's a higher chance for it to show up in a sidebar if someone's watching other videos. Oh, here's related video. Okay?
I feel like that's just one aspect of it. Of course, this magic algorithm is just going to be some sort of mystical thing, but you need to know what it is to tap into it, or you have to keep running your head into the ground enough to get lucky, or make content that's going to retain an audience once you break through. That's what it is, right? Yes, you might get positive engagement on a video, like people might be clicking on it or like whatever, but it does have to do a lot more with your retention now. How long are people watching these videos? And then I think there's a lot more with how similar is this to another person? Do a lot of people like this content creator who also like this other one? Maybe let's recommend that to this. I'm sure they spend so much time and money on this algorithm. So there's more to this that I think he's simplifying.
I can tell you that right now. It's all bullshit.
Oh, well, there we go. I just had to unpause. That's all it took. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It doesn't matter. It's all bullshit.
20 minutes, 30 minutes, to an hour did nothing but hurt myself financially. Being very honest with all of you.
Bottom dollar.
Here's what happened. I used to put out a video that's 15 minutes. That video would have maybe 2 ads, right? So if you watch an hour worth of gameplay, that's about 8 quick ads, and I would make a certain set amount of income on that. I put out a video now that's an hour long. That's supposed to have a certain amount of ads. Sometimes it'll have no ads. Sometimes it'll have a ridiculous amount of ads. Like,
can't you set where your commercial breaks are, your ads are?
That's all automated behind the scenes by YouTube. I have zero control over that. When I publish a video, YouTube just puts ads wherever the fuck they want, and I can't control that. Now, what I have the ability to do is every video that I upload to YouTube after the fact, I can go back and take a look at what happened. Oh my God, this video has like 1 ad, it's an hour long. Oh my God, this video has 27 ads and it's an hour long. I can see that, and I have the ability to change that. In general, I just let it go. Whatever is on there is on there. And I just let it go because it's not worth my time. I'd rather be focusing on being a live streamer and putting out quality streams for you guys than sitting behind the scenes on YouTube and adding ads, deleting ads, fucking with ads all day. I'm not an ad guy.
Well, it's because you upload so many freaking videos. You upload your streams to things. That's the problem. So yes, yeah, he is saying, got a good pause there too. Make you an offer you can't refuse. So he's saying he can go back in after the fact and tweak the ads a bit or whatever. That's what it sounds like he's saying. I don't know how this necessarily works. I haven't put ads on my videos. Far from it. But I'm pretty sure you can designate once you have enough clout, once you've got enough, subscribers or whatever, you can designate where the ad breaks are and put them in. So he's not taking that time because he's uploading so many videos to the website that it's going to be too much. It's going to be too much work for him to go back in and do it. So what's the point? If you really want to play the algorithm, you want to get more subscribers on YouTube, then yes, you do need to take that time and adjust that and do it accordingly.
System is inept, and it is. It always has been. YouTube can't decide anything to save their fucking life because it's all robots with terrible algorithms written by people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's always been like that.
Always.
So it's funny because sometimes
always been like that since day one. Since me at the zoo.
Like, I couldn't even get through your video because there was 27 ads. I'm sorry. I wish I could control that. Unless I'm gonna clone myself to sit there and fuck with that.
You can control it, you dipshit.
Ads all day on YouTube. I have no real control over it, and I don't have time to work on that.
It's because you spam YouTube.
Summer of 2018, I changed my video format from being anywhere from 10 to 30-minute long videos instead to hour-long videos. My revenue on YouTube went like this.
Thanks for that fart noise. We needed that.
That's why I basically had to 100% focus on being a live streamer, and I don't care about content I create for YouTube anymore.
The ironing. Oh, the ironing is delicious.
Revenue went from being my primary source of income to, all right, kind of like maybe 60% of my income to, all right, maybe 50% of my income to, all right, still about a third of my income to like not even 10%. That's how bad it got.
How long do you think we waited? Did we wait 30 minutes? No. 40 minutes? No. 50 minutes? No.
And every month it's fucked up too. Like 1 month I'll put out more videos or I'll play better games. Views are sky high and I make less money. Because YouTube can't sell the ad space because they suck at what they do. So it's ridiculously ludicrous.
Ridiculously.
How bad YouTube is. What I can tell you is
Ridiculous. Ridiculously ludicrous. Ridiculous.
All right. Luckily for me, I have turned things around. When I started being a full-time streamer, I told you my goal
was to make
it that my streams would be my focus and my streams would be my primary source of income. That is 100% accurate as of today. YouTube is kind of an afterthought. I don't put effort into what I put on YouTube. It's literally just cut up the streams, upload raw. I would never put effort into a YouTube video because there's no point. There's literally no point. YouTube fucked this business up so many times over the years. And
what? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sure that clipped. Straight from the horse's mouth. You heard it here, people. This is no effort content. Bada bing, bada bitch.
All the control out of the content creator's hands that there's no point in me even
Fuck
trying.
Me.
So everyone for years told me if you make longer videos, you'll get higher engagement. Your videos will be better on YouTube. You'll get more viewership. The complete opposite happened. My views tanked because I was making less videos.
Who told you that?
Revenue tanked because I was making
Is he
less
still
videos.
banking this
Everything
off
on
of
YouTube
like
went
2018,
south
2017
since the summer
machinima
of
advice?
2018
When did
because
machinima
the
die?
positive changes I made and everyone told me to make literally backfired and did the opposite. thank God I was able to adjust my streams to become as popular and profitable as they have, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here anymore. Okay? Now,
pick up your paper.
is it easier now because I don't have to make, take track of
sorry,
the
I
length
had
of
a
the
little
video
aneurysm
and basically
there.
say, oh, I have to stop the recording, start the recording every 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Yeah, that was annoying. And it became something natural that I did over the years. I had almost like a natural timer in my head. I could tell when it was about 15 minutes
Now
and
I'm
it was
glad.
about 30
Okay,
minutes.
I had to sit through a lot of that fighting shit, but now I'm glad that I'm here watching this one. Oh yeah, it was annoying. Oh yeah, I had to press stop on OBS and then press start. Fuck off.
I don't have to do that anymore. Every hour I just stop and start the video again, which is pretty easy to do. It's much easier in that regard, for sure.
Then every 15 minutes.
Would I ever start archiving my streams as one video? Like, let's say Ask the King would be one video for you.
Yeah, why not?
Right? No. And here's why. Even though...
Okay, so fuckers like me can come in and find what they want to see and make fun of you? Okay, well, thanks.
Even though that would make it super easy for me. Now I don't have to split it up at all. YouTube has major problems with the longer a video is, okay? The longer a video, YouTube just constantly has issues. If you have a video that's over an hour, you exponentially increase the failure rate of YouTube to actually be able to process that video in a normal time frame and put it live.
The failure rate of YouTube?
If I made Ask the King one video and I uploaded it, I wouldn't be surprised if it stuck in YouTube processing for a day and didn't go live for an extended period of time, or just air it out entirely. Because YouTube has issues with long videos, always has.
There's this brief aside here. There's this guy, I watched his video, Shaymay, I think his name is, and he's got like an 8-hour long video talking about Omega Ruby Pokemon. I know, I watched the whole thing, didn't do it all in one sitting, but I watched it over the course of a few days. And he said that there was an issue with the copyright, but I don't think he ever complained about something like this. Somebody's taking the time to upload an 8-hour video to YouTube. Yeah, it's going to take a while. I mean, but he did it, and the thing performed well. How many views does that have? I mean, I'll look it up on my phone. I don't want to go on a field trip right now, but, I mean, I don't think it is a complete failure.
For sure. The hour-long videos seem to always work now, which is good. But every once in a while, a problem creeps up its ugly head, and then a video gets screwed up, and I have to re-upload it a bunch of times. But the few times
it was 2 years ago when he uploaded it. It's at 873K views. It's almost at 1 million. 7 hours and 15 minutes. It's ridiculous.
I'm just not going to bother.
But he had copyright issues because of the thing, which sucks.
Of me having to upload, re-upload. Oh, now it's just not working at all. Split the video in a video editor and re-upload. I'm just not going to do. I'll do like I said.
Phil's not going to have copyright issues for this. He's just talking. There's no copyright here.
Do I feel like going all in on Twitch and ditching YouTube was a major factor in the recent positivity that I've seen over the past year? Especially because Twitch doesn't give me any problems behind the scenes like YouTube does, and Twitch has a platform with humans who work there. Mm-hmm. Yes, and the thing is, like I said, doing this kind of content, interactive content with you guys on stream, I feel is way more meaningful. And in reality, I enjoy doing this way more than the content I used to put out. And I just love it. I love being here. It's a different mentality.
He loves you.
On YouTube, it was kind of like whenever I put out a video for like many years there, I'd say probably the years 2015 through 2017. Whenever I put out a video, it was shit on the video, tell Phil he's terrible, harass Phil. And now I can put in an environment where it's not like that. Are there people who jazz me
you've
all
got
the
your
time?
echo chamber.
And it's fine. I run with the memes or whatever. But
I don't think he does.
100% Phil's a piece of shit, and we're just here to basically destroy him and make him feel like he's a worthless human, and make his day miserable. Instead, people actually want to hang out with me, have fun interaction. It's good in that regard. And you're right. Unlike YouTube, you got an issue on Twitch. I have contacts I can reach out to get the issue addressed.
Good for you.
A reasonable amount of time. But just in general, I haven't had any issues. Like when you really think about it, I think Twitch changed their rules or whatever in early 2018, and yeah, I got suspended like twice. And after that, it's been 2.5 years. I haven't had to speak to a single person at Twitch staff.
I got suspended twice.
I've had no
My
issues,
license was
nothing that
suspended
I need to
twice.
work with them on, because I just do my thing. I don't break the rules, and they ignore all the insane, stupid, false reports against me, and I never have an issue. So I love it. I love being here on Twitch, and yeah, I do feel that the positivity towards me is a direct factor is because I became a full-time live streamer rather than a content creator on YouTube. I don't think that ever would have been possible on YouTube. I'm serious. I feel like I reinvented myself in the last 3 years, and this never would have happened.
Anybody gonna be upset if I run upstairs and get a beer really quick? Because he's just talking, oh, everything's so great now. I made all the right decisions.
$37.
$37?
Thank you very much,
Fuck
Silent
off.
Bob, for the biggest tip of the day, a very generous tip. Let's get that up on the leaderboard.
You know, if I can sprint upstairs and get a beer really quick. Wait for it.
And that's going to propel us to being more than halfway to the tips goal. We're now at $61 in tips for the day.
I should have ran. I would have been fine.
Thank you very much for that, Silent Bob. It's good to see you. And thank you for helping us to try to at least, make some headway on the tips goal there. It's amazing. Dooley258 just subscribed for 53 months. Dooley, holy shit.
What?
That's what? Like 5+ years of support? Thank you, Dooley, for the ongoing long-term support. I appreciate that. It's good to see you. Guys, please give me a second. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. I want to use a tissue. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
I should have bolted. Oh, okay. If he's getting up, I'm getting up. FYI, ooh, I beat him. 60 months would be 5 years. 5 times 12. It's not hard. Ah!
Sorry about that. My allergies this year have been pretty bad on and off, and sometimes my air conditioner turns on, and it just, oh God, I got to sneeze so bad. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
I'm glad that little break was built in.
Now we're actually going to move on to Twitter questions for the second half of this video. I don't know if we're going to get through all the Twitter questions. We'll see. Okay? So the first question is from Vicente. He says,
Vicente.
The Last of Us 2 or Death Stranding, which one would you prefer and why? Now, that's an interesting question, okay? That's a really interesting question. And the reason I like that question is because you've got two games that are almost in completely opposite situations, all right? First of all, when you look at The Last of Us Part 2 as well as Death Stranding, the one thing that both games did well was the graphics and the actual, world design of each game. I think that each one of those did outstanding, that they hit the mark when it came to, level design, things
I played a little bit of Death Stranding.
The character models and everything.
Yeah, it's a good world building game. Haven't played Last of Us 2.
Overall, just in general of those games were outstanding.
A couple friends who enjoyed it. A couple friends who absolutely hated it.
But
the only thing I really know about Last of Us 2 is that controversy with Naughty Dog stealing that one acoustic cover. Look it up. YMS did a video on it.
Death Stranding was a game where most of the gameplay mechanics of the game were very basic. Basic third-person shooter style gameplay. There were a few elements in there that felt kind of like Metal Gear, admittedly.
Death Stranding really wasn't about the combat.
Traversing mountainous regions or rocky regions, getting through.
It's the world's first Strand-type game.
Packages, okay? Not the most riveting gameplay. Was there gameplay with combat and everything? There was, but it was kind of secondary to just walking from point A to point B, using vehicles to drive from point A to point B.
That's the joke.
Building bridges, that kind of stuff.
You can build those zip lines that let you cheat the whole freaking game.
Refreshing parts of the game. But even then, when it comes to, I got to ban someone because they're spamming copy pasta because they're a brain dead. I need to get rid of them. Okay.
I'm watching this on YouTube. What?
They were more simplistic. They weren't very challenging or interesting. In a lot of cases, they were just kind of interjected to feel like, oh, there's some variety in the game. But the primary gameplay of Death Stranding, boring. But one of the best stories of this console generation, for sure, if not the last 10 years, a completely original work. Was it weird? Absolutely.
Thanks,
was
Kojima.
It entertaining? Yeah. Kojima did an amazing job with the story of that game. I like that story a lot. That story
is it because it had Monster Energy drink in it?
For a long time, because it was lengthy and drawn out, had all these mystery questions that were answered. By the end of the game, all the loose ends were tied up. You had characters, you didn't know who they were, then they get revealed. Oh my God, what a twist and all of that. And in my opinion, the game's story was absolutely.
It's actually kind of shocking to me that he
loved
liked
it.
the story to Death
Every moment.
Stranding.
And I was sad when the game would push me into a gameplay segment that felt like it was boring and drawn out. Now, the gameplay was made that way for a reason. The whole point of the game was a long journey and stuff like that, and the connections between people. It was meant to be like that. The gameplay was purposely made to have segments that felt like they were long, arduous, and boring. But the overall work
Speaking
of
of long,
art
arduous, and boring,
was entertaining.
already did that once.
It was a really good game when you looked at it, when you got to the end of that story. Like, wow, I toughed through the parts that were kind of arduous and tedious, and maybe this game could have been a lot better if the gameplay was better. But man, it was a wild ride, and I'm happy I played it. At the end of the day, you feel like, wow, that was a great story, man. It was worth the trip. The Last of Us Part 2 is the complete opposite. Although it has insane character models that are great, and it has a great graphics and all of that, and great world design.
Great gameplay, great
gameplay
graphics.
Is insanely improved from The Last of Us Part 1 to the point where the whole sneaking, survival, looting, solving puzzles, platforming aspect
sitting
of
here.
the game, the
I know
exploration
nothing about this game.
aspect of the game, leaps and bounds better than the first game. The actual just gameplay of the game is fun, much better than the first game. Although a lot of people might say, well, the first game had more run and gun. That is true. This game made the gunplay much more difficult, but at the same time, you had other elements that made that gameplay better. There was a really cool boss fight that I absolutely enjoyed in Last of Us Part 2. So, gameplay, sky-high improvement, right? Like technical achievement, even.
How
But
can
then
this
you
guy
look at the
talk
story,
for
and it's like,
this
the
long
story
about
sadly
one
is
simple
not well
question?
written. It's timed very poorly with flashback jumps and time lapses. Playing as one character during one timeline, then playing as another character aside from the same timeline and splitting it up instead of being in chronological order just makes it frustrating and confusing. The characters are not likable for a lot of people.
Confused.
I know a lot of people disagree with that, but for me, the characters are just not likable because of the way that they're developed and set up. A lot of the characters from the first game don't even act like the same people as the first game. They
that was a big complaint that I actually heard about from a couple of my friends who were into it. They said that they liked one of the characters at the beginning and then absolutely hated them at the end.
People enjoyed The Last of Us Part 1 for the story, and then, my God, the great graphics and the gameplay were just the icing on the delicious cake that was the complete game. In this game, it's like delicious, amazing chocolate frosting on top of a shit sundae. You know?
Okay.
I don't want to eat the shit sundae. In fact, I even said to people, if ever there's a Last of Us Part 3, which I almost guarantee you, there's going to be a Last of Us Part 3 because the game sold so well.
We'll see how well Naughty Dog does.
I will skip every cutscene if I replay The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not exaggerating. Like, I just hated the story so much that I will play the game, but every time there's a cutscene, skip, till I get to the next part of the gameplay. Because the gameplay was great and the graphics were great. I will have to replay it again and
That's a good way to enjoy a game. Skip every cutscene.
It's a piece of shit. And I would, you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. Why would you play a brand new game and skip all the cutscenes? If you're streaming a brand new game on Twitch, people would eat you alive for doing that. You wouldn't do that, you pussy.
I would replay Death Stranding in its entirety again. If I had a choice between the two games, I would replay Death Stranding in its entirety again before I would replay The Last of Us Part 2 in its entirety again. I would. I would go through the arduous, tedious, annoying shit, and maybe the second time around try to learn how the stupid pulley system or whatever it was worked, which I ignored the first playthrough. I would maybe try to do things differently, and I would probably thoroughly enjoy. He ignored that the first playthrough. I would not want to play The Last of Us Part 2 in its entirety ever again. I just don't ever want to see those cutscenes one more fucking time.
Porter Bridges.
I would bear through the arduous tediousness of the gameplay of of Death Stranding again before I would watch that horrible writing and those terrible.
I've seen people just take the ski lift things like over and over again. The pulleys, like that saves you so much time in the game. He just didn't bother with it.
Better job, in my opinion.
What the fuck?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I received a $39 anonymous tip. We hit the tips goal, guys. Let's update everything. And so the people on the pre-stream used a new system today by which they used their channel points or penne points to vote early.
Penne points?
On what vest I would be wearing. And the vest that went out was the platinum vest. So I'm going to put on the platinum vest per the request of the viewers earlier today.
Can we skip this? Can I skip ahead? I feel like I've dealt with this and shit
Went out to
enough.
$100 punch
Put your
vest.
stupid shitty vest on.
One resubscribed for 24 months. That's 2 years of support from Ponage, and he says 2 years. We're sharing the sub anniversary. Awesome.
Well, he
Thank
got
you,
his
Ponage,
math
for
right this
ongoing
time.
Support. I appreciate that. Only Ice Coffee gifted a sub to Human Milk. Congratulations, Human Milk, and thank you, Ice Coffee, for the support. Alice Telemon did a 50-bit cheer. Says you were fully ready to not hit the street today. However, we were not. Booyah. Thank you for that nice statement and the support, Alice Telemon. And Only Ice Coffee gifted a sub to Mockingjay Bird. Congratulations, Mockingjay Bird. Again, thank you, Only Ice Coffee. All right, let's continue. Snow White asked the following question. As a person that's a versatile gamer, you've played every genre of games. So my question is, what's your opinion on decision-based games where your choices decide how the story unfolds, and why do you think they're not so popular or get recognition like most other games? What this person is describing is basically the Telltale model of game.
I just realized
where
my
it's kind of
head
choose your
fits
own
into like that
adventure,
little pillow
narrative
of his
choices, or
couch.
quick time
If
event
I
choices
go
that you
like
make
this.
determine how the game unfolds.
Ooh, it fits so nice.
I honestly think that they're
That's
not
how bored
popular
I
for
am.
2 reasons. All right. The first reason is a lot of these
Look at
games
that.
are bait and switch, meaning it
It's the
says
same
that your
as the arm
choices
of the couch.
matter.
Sitting like this is uncomfortable.
Clementine
Stop
will
going
remember
like
that.
this. You got
Clementine
nothing
will
there.
remember
Stop
choice.
it.
In reality, it doesn't
You're
matter.
not
Like,
fooling
a lot of
anyone,
people pretend like
dumbass.
the choice matters, but they all steer you towards the same narrative end anyway. Maybe there's a slight nuance in the way that one thing is done versus another, the person who comes with you, the way that you do it. But if the resolution and ending is exactly the same, then did your choices really matter during that supposed choose your own adventure game? No, not at all. It's the illusion of choice to just end you at the same destination anyway. So I think a lot of people kind of
Yeah, he should
realize
play
that over
Shadow
the years.
Hedgehog
At first,
more.
when Telltale Games were
That'd be
making these
great.
games, people bought
Can we
into it,
please
and
get
then
him
they
to play
kinda
Shadow
realized,
the
hey, you do this
Shadow the
choice, it's
Hedgehog?
the same anyway. That's kind of messed up. So because of that, a lot of people just stopped caring about those games. There was also a massive oversaturation of the market of those games for a several-year period. I say about 4 or 5 years. There were Telltale was putting out way too many. You had Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Tales from the Borderlands, Game of Thrones, Batman 1 and 2, right? All coming out within like a year. You're like, what the fuck? Like, how am I supposed to play all those? You know? And that's the thing, is like it just got oversaturated to the point where people stopped caring about that style of game, and Telltale went out of business because of that.
That's too bad because
Now, the other
honestly, I feel
factor
like those
here,
games that have moral choices
I
don't go
think,
far
is
enough.
Value for your dollar and the
how it should
perceived
be.
value of one of those games. If you play a game,
People,
like that,
nobody's
gonna
gonna play a
probably-
game like that where you toe the line. You're like, oh, I'm gonna do this bad and this good and this bad and this good. It's always full tilt good, full tilt evil. Paragon versus Renegade.
through once, right? And you're going to really enjoy it the first time through that you play it. But then, is there really any replayability for playing it a second time? A Telltale game, almost never. The Telltale games almost always, if not always, have the same resolution. It doesn't matter what you chose. It's the same ending no matter what. Therefore, there's zero replayability. Maybe you'll see a slightly different cutscene here or there, but what was the point? With games like, I would say, from...
Well, if people
The
are really
people who
into the
made- I
game,
forget
it's
the name of
that's
that.
what it's
David
about.
Cage.
You're enjoying
Who
your
makes
time.
the
If you see
Beyond
the
Two
difference, some
Souls,
people get
or
off
Detroit
finding those
Become
other
Human,
cutscenes. You know,
or, you know,
the point is
Heavy
to
Rain.
see everything
Those
the game's
games
got.
actually have concrete changes that can happen in the plots and stuff depending on what you choose. People can die.
There's
at
this
various
game
points.
that I
The
enjoy
outcome of
called
the game can
Franbo,
actually change
where you
the
can
game.
actually
And at
get
least with
past a
those games,
guard
you
early
replay it at
on,
least
either by
another
like
time
drugging
just to
him
see
or
the differences
sneaking by him. There's a
in
couple
your
things you can do,
choices. So
and you
at
get
least there's
Steam
some
achievements
replayability
based on
there.
it.
But in general,
But you
games
can
as a
like
whole have
stuff a
become longer
donut full of
and more
pills and
lengthy
give it
had
to
more
him, and he
content
eats
to
it.
them
It's great.
in recent years. If you haven't noticed, in the past 5 years, this console generation is now.
I need to play
these consoles can
Lorelei
have more
and the Cat
capacity,
Lady
more
again. I need to
processing
replay
power.
the Cat Lady.
Every game's open world. Every game is 50 hours long.
There's a lot of good indie shit
Sadly,
out there. There's a lot of good
perception out there that
Steam
if you
shit
make
out
one of these
there.
choice-based games, plot-based games. The game's only 5 hours.
That's what I'd
long,
prefer to dig into.
And you play it once, maybe you replay it one more time, and you rush through it, so you got 8 hours out of a game. See what I mean?
If you know the game The Cat
perceived value is
Lady and
much
you've been
lower.
watching
Now,
this
for me,
video,
being
I will
versatile
play it
gamer,
on my
played all
Twitch
these
at some
different types
point.
of games, I can tell you, I've had just as much enjoyment with a franchise like The Walking Dead from Telltale Games as I've had with a 50-hour open-world action-based game or RPG. But a lot of people don't see it that way. They just,
But
it's
have you
apples
had
to
that much
apples,
fun in
50
Fortnite,
hours,
Phil?
7 hours. It's not the same. Therefore, this game's better than this one.
He
And
looks like
he
looks like a fucking Fortnite character right now.
I do feel there is still a place in the gaming market for this kind of game. I mean, last year
I
we had
can't get
Animal
over
Jam.
that.
Later this year in October, we're going to have Little Hope. At least we got the horror style choose your own adventure game
Horror.
that's coming out still, and they're still continuing on. Apparently, they're selling enough that the franchise continues. That's great because I like that. I don't want to see every single game franchise like the David Cage games.
David Cage. He loves those games. He loves those because they're just like playable movies with little quick time events.
And because the games aren't
David Cage.
So for me,
that's why he knows David Cage's name.
A place for it and a way for those games to be popular. I do, and I hope to see them continue.
You saw his little knee there. He's wearing shorts.
Judgments that people make about those style of games that are kind of unfair, or it could be, you know, again, their value they see in a game is length.
Oh God, only 1 minute left. Thank Christ.
Not very long.
I'm giving up.
Value is not there.
I'm about to throw in the fucking towel.
People kind of don't hold them in the same high regard. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our second break of the stream. So if you're watching live on stream, it's going to be about a 10-minute break right now. If you're watching on YouTube, this is the end of part 2. When we come back with part 3, we'll finish up the Twitter questions, and then we're going to open forum for people on the stream to ask some questions to end the show. So thank you so far, everyone, for all of your support. I really
there might be some good shit on the open forum.
See you in a bit.
Let's pause him real quick. How long have I been recording? Forever. I don't know. I might come back to this tomorrow. Do I have time tomorrow? I don't know. We might come back to this tomorrow. He uploads it in parts. I don't feel like doing the other part. I don't know. There might be some good shit. You know what? All right, fine. Let's do this together, my friends. Mail, motherfucker. We're not going to watch this whole extra thing. What is this? TLO2 versus Death Strand. Wait. He didn't even get his captions right? On part 3, it says that argument between The Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding, and then unfair obsession and scrutiny? Well, what is he...
He looks here. They're trying to take things that I say out of context or twist them in a way that I don't mean to make me look bad. They're literally at every waking moment trying to find a way to say and do something negative towards me, okay?
Okay, wait a minute. I think we got to stick on to this. Because the main reason why I didn't watch part 3 is because I didn't care about whether he thought The Last of Us 2 or Death Stranding was better. That was the whole point. But then, just like my friends, in those videos he uploads, what was it? It was his Minecraft playthrough. He's like, this is my hardcore playthrough of whatever, such and such game. He just copies and pastes whatever. He doesn't give a shit. He told you in this video, YouTube is an afterthought. He does not give a shit. He's doing this as a formality. Christ. So what does he open this up with? What is he talking? He seems pretty upset about something. I'm upset about a lot of things too. I'm upset about his titling here. He doesn't even he doesn't title it right. He doesn't title it rightle. Fucking smitle your blightle, you little shitle.
Should be live already. If you're here live on stream, welcome back from the break. No, don't worry. We did not have an error. OBS did have an error, but I fixed it. It is recording. Don't worry. Some people were saying that. Okay. The time has come for the conclusion. Let us finish up with the Twitter questions. Then we're going to open it up to live questions on the stream chat. But
I can't believe he put The Last of Us 2 versus Death Stranding in this video.
Patrons. That's right. I still have a Patreon over at patreon.com/.
I don't give a shit about your Patreon.
Gamer, The Resistance, Ryan, Gutter, Q. Question answered for sure. Patreon.com to the final slew.
Slew, his little page.
So this question
is
from
slew.
Thomas, and he asks the following. He says, every move you make, every word you say, every tiny thing that you do, I'll be watching.
He was so close to the police lyrics there.
Everything that you do is constantly picked apart and scrutinized to try and find some sort of conspiracy.
This will be good.
Or a deeper meaning hidden behind your actions. Granted, you've admitted yourself that you've had to at times not tell the full story or just give little tidbits.
Why did he look away when he...
In your opinion, that you have such a
not tell the full story?
massive following dedicated to unraveling the real truth. When any other streamer or YouTuber can do things to protect private parts of their life and not suffer any backlash.
I'm sorry. I hate to say this. I hate to be one of those nitpicky people, but maybe he does need these on the page so he has an excuse to like look down and be like, oh God, what am I going to do? Oh, they're picking me apart. Oh, Jesus, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I certainly think that I have a unique situation. The reason is multifaceted. All right. First of all, I've been around for a long time. I was around 12 years ago.
There's two facets,
YouTube was
maybe
a
more.
completely different place before live streaming was even prominent. And my style of content back then is very different than who I am today and what I put out today.
Yeah, it was more
Admittedly, that
racist
style
back
of
then.
content, a lot of people could eventually have issue with over the years. I mean, just look at cancel culture now and how everyone is looking back at things people did 20 years
He
ago
read
and
my
saying,
fucking mind. I swear to God, I have not watched
today,
this.
You brushed it under the rug, but now we call it out. For me, always being a public-facing figure and a person that's always had a lot of attention on him, literally everything I've ever done went under a microscope, okay? And the thing is, a lot of the things from back in the day that I did that were wrong, I've openly admitted over the years were wrong, and I've changed to not do that stuff anymore. So even though cancel culture might like to look at me for something I did 10 years ago and say, you made a joke about Jews and Nazis, I've publicly apologized for that joke a million times, admitted
You jacked off on stream. Are you going to talk about that again, too, or no?
And I've lived up to those words, so I can continue to be a better person in the present day, right? So there you go.
That one's a little more recent.
Now, admittedly, okay, when you talk about me and the stuff that I do, there are people literally watching this stream right now live. They are trying to take things out of context. They're trying to take things in ways that I say, things that
I have a life
today, and they're trying to freeze frame things to say he looks bad here, look how stupid he looks here. They're trying to take things that I say out of context or twist them in a way that I don't mean to make me look bad. They're literally at every waking moment trying to find a way to say and do something negative towards me, okay? And you might say, how the fuck did that happen? The thing is, it's probably different for a lot of different people. Maybe some people just have a bug up their butt about me for something that I said or did over the years. Maybe it's one of those things I did a million years ago, and they just can't let it go. They can't find it in their heart to forgive me for the messed up stuff that I did in the past.
This is actually a really good place to end this, because people dissect Phil because he's gotten away with much more than many people have. He's been able to get by playing games, and people have given him money, and he's got the golden egg. The golden goose has laid him this golden egg. And people sit here and rip him apart. I would say not necessarily because they hate him. I don't necessarily hate him. I find this entertaining because he messes up so much and yet can still get the audience he has and gets the money he has and can have everything in his life that he has, even though he constantly trips over his fucking boxer shorts every day. People pick him apart because there's an entertainment to it. It's more interesting to pick him apart than watch what he actually does, because what he actually does is not that entertaining. But the whole atmosphere around it, the whole microcosm of what he does and how he carries himself and how he tries to punch through and hates everything and, oh, I'm the king of hate and whatever, and many people years ago thought he was going to be done. And somehow he still keeps going, and he still keeps getting the money that he gets. He's filled his way through a bankruptcy. And here he is, same as always, sitting on a couch. So I tell to you, dear viewer, the reason why people pick Phil apart is because it's an anomaly. He is someone who is sitting there, somehow, despite everything, despite all the criticism, can continue what he's doing, making the very slightest, bare minimum changes. And there are people out there who get some amount of comfort from him that will give him ostentatious amounts of money because they need that constant in their life. They need that parasocial relationship. It's ridiculous. This will continue to go on. I don't know when he's going to end because I've heard people say that he's going to be done. He's going to be over. They've had the 2012 Harold, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. The predictions, the doomsayer predictions. But he's still here. He's gone through his underage girlfriend. She wasn't underage, apparently. But we've seen more of this man's life, hours upon hours. So, of course, people are going to dissect you, Phil. And I don't feel like I should give him the last word. He doesn't deserve the last word. From start to finish, everything's been out there. And he always gets the last word, talking about how these people have nothing better to do and blah, 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 and whatever. Well, I say no. No more. I will continue to watch you, and I will continue to make these videos, but no more tonight. You don't get the last word today, my friend. I'd like to say good night. Thank you for watching. This video is probably very long. Shout out to Crinbo again. Hope to see you in the comments of this one.